If you're like me, you want many things in life, but especially those three. You want to achieve your goals, you want health, vitality and energy, and you don't want to be a lazy bitch. Now that's why I went on a little journey 2 years ago. I was feeling tired, undisciplined, lazy, but I set on a mission to learn more about health, vitality and energy. I wanted to be much more energetic, so I read articles, books, watched videos and experimented a lot myself as well. And 2 years later now I feel so much better. Part of it is because of what I eat. So in this video I will be telling you my personal way to eat for maximum energy and also more testosterone as well. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but I'm pretty sure that if you eat the same way, you can probably see some real improvements in your own life as well. So in the next couple minutes I will tell you about my 5 basic rules that I think are very important to have the most energy based on your diet. And after that I will tell you the exact foods that I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. And I'll also tell you some supplements that can really help at the end as well. But before we jump into the first rule, I just want to quickly mention I'm not a nutritionist and I'm not your doctor, okay?
Okay.
Especially if you have any illnesses, any issues or whatever, talk to your doctor. I just spent the last 2 or 3 years learning about this and experimenting a lot myself, so I'm quite confident this is legit, but I have to make that disclaimer here. But with that out of the way, let's jump into my 5 basic rules. Now the first of those 5 pillars for an Energymaxxing diet is eating a low carb diet, especially early in the day. Now I'm going to make a full video about explaining why the keto diet makes you energetic as very soon, but I can tell you right now, if you never tried eating low carb or even ketogenic, you might be missing out. What many people on a low carb diet report is better mental clarity, more focus and more stable energy. Besides, of course, the weight loss and stuff like that. But those things are huge. Your brain works better on ketones, aka your energy fuel when you eat fat instead of carbohydrates. And I don't think a keto diet or just low carb in general is a fad diet. You can get all the nutrients your body needs, and people like Andrew Huberman, for example, also agree that there are some benefits of eating low carb, especially when it comes to maximizing your energy. On top of that, many top athletes eat that way too. So for me, eating low carb when I want to maximize my energy definitely makes sense. Now the second pillar of the Energymaxxing diet is an egg focus. Yes, eggs are a nutritional powerhouse containing all essential micronutrients except vitamin C and also quite a high amount of important nutrients that your body needs to be energetic, namely especially vitamin B. And on top of that, because of the zinc, a little bit of magnesium, vitamin D and omega-3 content, eggs also help you to improve your testosterone. I made quite a few videos about eggs by now, so if you want to learn more, just watch any of those. But for now, just know eggs are an important part of this diet as well. The third basic rule is that I want to get all the nutrients. Now, of course, if you get all the nutrients your body needs, the diet is probably a good diet. And of course, that will also make you feel the best. It will improve your testosterone the most and it will improve your energy the most. So for me, learning about micronutrients, what foods contain those micronutrients and how much of those I need, and then of course eating them is essential for me. Pillar number 4 is that I want to make this diet as cheap as possible while achieving my standards. So that means getting all the nutrients, being easy to make, being versatile and also potentially being high quality, organic food for example. And pillar number 5 is that I want to stay flexible. I don't want my way of eating to limit me too much. Sure, some discipline, some limits, that's perfectly fine. But personally, I do have kebab sometimes, I do have pizza sometimes, burgers sometimes.
How dare you!
And yes, that's maybe not the best for maximum energy and testosterone, but it's also a price I'm willing to pay. You may agree with this or not, personally I don't care, but I think to enjoy good food sometimes, especially when it doesn't really hurt you, like having a pizza one time is not going to destroy your life. if you make that claim, you have an eating disorder. Agree with this or not. You don't have to eat pizza, burger or whatever. You can stick to the diet I'm going to tell you about in the next seconds. But personally, I'm not going to be too strict. So let's finally get to the actual specific foods that I eat. Let's start off with breakfast or your morning in general. Because for me, what I often do is to not even eat breakfast. I mean, per definition, I will eat breakfast because I'm breaking my fast at some point, but you get what I mean. I don't eat an early breakfast usually. Why, you may ask? It's simply because of focus. I'm more focused in the morning when I didn't eat yet, or especially compared to when I ate like a big solid breakfast, which is usually the recommendation. So I have better focus. It's good for human growth hormone. It can be motivation because you could tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this first, then I have my breakfast. That's an easy way to kind of trick yourself into getting more shit done. And also it saves time. It just saves time in the morning when personally I'm definitely most productive and most humans are after they just slept. So saving time there, not having to prepare my breakfast and eat the breakfast as well, is just very valuable to me. Now, what I will have in the morning is definitely some water. Right after waking up, I drink a full glass of water. And then, of course, throughout the day, continue to drink water.
It's a simple spell, but quite unbreakable.
Also, I will say, sometimes I do eat something early in the morning, but it's never going to be a big meal like I said before, and it's more going to be like a snack or a small meal instead. It really depends on how hungry I am and what I'm about to do. I will talk about snacks later in this video, but for example, what I'm talking about is like a banana, good source of potassium, a kiwi for plenty of vitamins, for example also vitamin C, which you don't get in my third snack, just a boiled egg for example. Or maybe sometimes I just have a little bit of chocolate, dark chocolate. There are a few other things I could potentially eat, but with snack I mean something of that size. Just a little snack to get something into my body. And if I decide to eat a small meal, it's usually leftovers from the day before. I'm gonna talk about what exactly that means later as well. Or maybe I have like a couple of eggs or like a shake maybe with kefir, milk, berries, protein powder. Sometimes I do have that too. And if I don't eat anything, pretty much always I have my bulletproof coffee that I prepare in here. It looks so dirty because I had my coffee in there. Bulletproof coffee, if you've never heard of it before, it's just coffee with butter, about 2 tablespoons, and preferably MCT oil. Or if you don't have that, coconut oil works as well. Some also do olive oil, but don't think I ever tried that before. Or once I did. Yeah, not as good as MCT oil or coconut oil. And that of course will give you fat, which gives you energy. And when you combine it with the coffee, it's also more stable energy, more low-key energy. It's not like this huge rush and this kick of a pure coffee, but it's more relaxed. It's more stable energy. And that bulletproof coffee is especially valuable if you fast, because this sort of extends your fast. Yes, you do get calories, but your blood sugar levels don't really change. And when you're on a low carb or keto diet, because then you run on fat instead of carbohydrates. And of course you get a lot of fat in that bulletproof coffee. So you just need it for energy. And then usually I have my first real meal.
Okay, let's go.
Now if I snacked before, early in the morning, I usually often have another snack or a small meal at around 11 AM till 12 PM. So usually here for breakfast or lunch, however we want to label it, I usually have leftovers from yesterday's dinner, which we're gonna talk about next, or usually 4 to 6 eggs. Now mostly that's scrambled eggs with cheese usually, sometimes veggies and or avocado and or bacon and or low carb bread. It just varies a little bit. It depends on what I have available, but usually, to simplify it, it's eggs. Eggs with something else. Simple reason, gives me fats, protein, makes me satiated, and again gives me all vitamins except vitamin C, all essential minerals and all amino acids that my body can't produce on its own, aka essential amino acids. So that's really good for health and testosterone, but also I think because of the amounts of vitamin B, also good for your energy. And if you stick to low carb, then you also will feel energetic even after eating all those eggs. Although when you have bread with it, you will probably feel tired. That's why I like the low carb diet so much. Now, after that breakfast or lunch, I usually try to have only one other big meal. But also that again varies and depends on the day, what I have available, what I'm doing, and some other factors too. Maybe I have one snack in between, like some fruit, protein bar or whatever. And then I usually have dinner at around 6 p.m, maybe 7 p.m, sometimes later because I'm just working. But usually I try to eat 3 hours before I go to bed. And here are also some important takeaways. First, what I just said, try to eat at least 2, preferably 3 hours before bed, because your body needs to digest the food and that's energy consuming, but also makes it harder for you to fall asleep. And also another very important thing to consider and for you to take away from this video is that it is key when it comes to being energetic to never eat until you're really full. Unless maybe in the evening when you're about to go to bed anyways. But usually what I do and what works really well, not only for me, but many other people too, is to usually eat until you're like maybe 60% full, 70% full. You maybe have to experiment with this and then listen to what makes you feel most energetic. But I think eating until you're like 60% full is a very good starting point. Because when you eat that much, you're not gonna be hungry anymore. Or at least you shouldn't. And it also doesn't make you spend tons of energy on digestion of your food. And you can actually use energy to put into your work. So that's usually why I don't try to eat until I'm really full, except for dinner. But either way, I do eat something. And of course, you have to. The specific foods I eat will also again vary. But for the last couple of weeks, I usually had either ground beef with veggies and usually some cheese, maybe some sauce as well. That will give you protein, fats, it's delicious. Also gives you fiber from the veggies. And it takes like 5 to 10 minutes. Because usually I just buy frozen veggies and it's super easy. They're cut already. Ground beef, veggies, cook for a couple minutes and boom, you're done. I really fell in love with this over the last couple of weeks. Another variation of ground beef is to mix it with eggs and also some cheese, maybe cream cheese too, and preferably some veggies as well. And to put it all into like a form, put it in the oven, and that's another great meal. You get a lot of B vitamins, which will make you more energetic. Of course, in combination with zinc, choline, copper, and so much more. And another food I have quite often, sort of, is just salmon with veggies. Take the salmon, put it on a baking tray, take the veggies, put them next to it, put it in the oven, cook it, and you're done.
That's too easy!
Personally, I value saving time so much. I don't like to spend hours cooking, so for me, that's another great thing. And with the salmon, although it might not be great because of metals, microplastics and stuff like that, but it will give you more omega-3, magnesium and so much more too. Nutrition-wise, salmon is another great thing to have in your diet. And personally, it just makes me feel very good. Might be different for you, but for me it works. And then 5 other things that I have from time to time are steak. Also makes me feel very good, very energetic, very clear-headed. Also tastes good, but of course is expensive as well. Then again, eggs, if I didn't have them for breakfast. My cholesterol burger. Very based, very cholesterol rich, but I'm not worried about dietary cholesterol because studies have proven by now that dietary cholesterol does not directly increase blood cholesterol. Or sometimes I'm just at my parents' house, I'll eat their food, whatever they make, makes them happy, makes me full. And if it's not the perfect chicken, broccoli and rice, who gives a shit? If your parents make food for you, appreciate it, okay? And then sometimes I'll try other things as well. Or maybe I also have like a cheat meal, like a kebab, a pizza, burger. Sometimes I have that, and I like to have that. Especially when I'm out with friends. I talked about this earlier in the video. For me, that's okay. You don't have to do that. Now, what about snacks? And then after that, also, what about supplements? Now, snacks are somewhat important for me as well. Usually just having the breakfast or lunch and the dinner will not be enough to make me really satisfied and also get me the calories I need. Of course, I can play with the size of each meal, but I'll have some snacks either before breakfast, after breakfast, throughout the day, whatever. I think a light snack doesn't really change my energy that much. Now what I'm talking about is either fruit, again, banana, kiwi, berries, oranges, pineapple, any fruit, man. I think fruit is healthy and probably the healthiest source of carbohydrates. especially the healthiest source of sugar. And of course, it also gives me other vitamins, fiber, and that probably makes me more healthy as well. There are some arguments being made about fiber actually not being necessary, but I'm not really sure if there's an objective truth. If you want fiber, fruit is another thing you can eat. Then I often also have a raw egg shake.
Oh, hell no!
Yes, I do. Usually that means raw eggs, about 6 eggs, some milk, some heavy cream, protein powder and banana. I mix it all up. And that really gives me plenty of nutrients, a good testosterone boost and a lot of energy as well. If you've never tried it before, I have a video about this shake on my channel, so maybe you too give it a try. Then third, I like to have some kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut juice, something with probiotics, or maybe something fermented. I just want something good for my gut. I want to support the bacteria in my gut, and then I usually have one of those things. Sometimes I also have some nuts. Some people nowadays seem to hate on nuts, but theoretically they do have plenty of essential minerals and are especially good for magnesium, which many people, more than 50% actually, are deficient in. So besides avocado, that's one of my best sources for magnesium. And snack number 5, which may sound weird to some, but it's just sardines. I usually try to not eat too much fish because of the metals and microplastics, but I try to get some fish into my diet. And next to salmon, sardines is what I like. And also sardines are always wild caught, which maybe does make them a bit better than salmon actually. But yeah, that's a discussion for another video maybe. For now, that's everything I eat in a day. It's usually what I try to stick to. Again, I leave some room for variation, for exceptions and trying new things as well. But usually that's what I eat. Eggs, meat, veggies, fruit, chocolate, nuts, fermented stuff, dairy, fish, and I don't know, something else. Protein powder, protein bars, or actually also honey. I forgot honey. And now, lastly, let's talk about supplements too. I'm not gonna go in depth here because I'm making a whole video about my supplements and also supplements to be more energetic. So maybe subscribe if you want to see that and you don't want to miss it. But quickly, here are some supplements I take. Vitamin D. I'm taking this since I think about 8 years by now. And in my opinion, it's the best supplement that exists. Then magnesium, but I don't really have that too consistently. Maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. I just randomly pop a pill, you know. And then sometimes either zinc, because I have it in a combination with vitamin C. That's another thing I sometimes have. It's 1 pill. I sometimes have 5-HTP as well, which supposedly helps the production of serotonin. Sometimes I have melatonin as well, which improves your sleep. So that again also makes you more energetic. From time to time, Tonkat Ali and ashwagandha, usually used to boost testosterone, but right now I don't use it. And I also might look into boron in the future. Right now I never tried it before, but it seems quite interesting, so maybe that's something for the future. To summarize it, this diet simply makes me feel good. And it makes me feel very energetic. I get tired less easily, I'm more productive, I'm more motivated as well. And I think potentially my mental health improves too. Definitely seems to work for me, seems to work for many other people out there as well. And it's definitely something I recommend for you to try too. Personally, I'm very happy with it. It made me much more productive, much more energetic. And especially if you can afford it, I think it's really good for energy maxing purposes. And if you want some tips to achieve this diet on a budget, then watch this video because I just made a video about this, and then maybe try it yourself, adjust it a little bit if needed, and then let me know what you think. Stay excellent, have a great day, and bye.